Three words are going to follow you through every single hack you ever do: encoding, hashing, and encryption. They look almost identical, random looking strings of characters. And beginners mix them up constantly, which quietly wrecks their exploitation because they try to crack something that isn't encrypted or decrypt something that was never a secret. Here's the truth: these three do completely different jobs. One is just a costume, one is a one-way fingerprint, and one is a real lock with a key. In the next few minutes, I'm going to make sure you never confuse them again, because reading these strings correctly is a skill you'll use in literally every module ahead. Let's start by cutting through the confusion with two simple questions. Answer them, and you can instantly tell which of the three you're looking at. Here are the three categories, and the two questions that separate them. Question 1. Can you reverse it? Question 2. Do you need a secret key to do so? Encoding is reversible by anyone, with no key at all. It's just a different way of writing the same data. Hashing is not reversible at all. It's a one-way street. You can go in, but you can never come back out. And encryption is reversible, but only if you hold the right key. That's the whole point of it. So, reversible with no key is encoding. Not reversible is hashing. Reversible only with a key is encryption. Three categories, two questions. Get this framework locked in, and everything else in this episode is just detail. Let's start with encoding, and let's kill the biggest myth immediately. Encoding is not security. It provides zero protection. Encoding is just a way of representing data in a different format, usually so it can travel safely through systems that only accept certain characters. Anyone can reverse it instantly with no key and no secret. Think of it as a costume, not a lock. You'll meet three encodings constantly. Base64 turns any data, even binary, into a safe set of letters, numbers, and a couple of symbols. You'll spot it everywhere. URL encoding replaces special characters with a % and a code. A space becomes %20, so your data survives inside a web address. And hexadecimal represents each byte as two characters. Why does a hacker care so much about a thing that provides no security? Two reasons. First, offense. Your attack payloads often have to be encoded to slip past filters or travel through a URL without breaking. Encoding is how your exploit survives the trip. Second, recon. Applications constantly hand you encoded data, tokens, parameters, cookies, and the moment you decode it, you can read what's inside and often tamper with it. Encoding hides nothing from you. It just changes the wrapping. Let's zoom in on Base64 because you will see it more than any other, and recognizing it on sight is a genuine skill. Base64 represents data using 64 characters, the letters A to Z in both cases, the digits 0 to 9, and a plus and a slash. The dead giveaway is at the end. Base64 strings are often padded with 1 or 2 equal signs to make the length come out even. So if you see a longish string of mixed case letters and numbers ending in an equal sign, that's almost certainly Base64. And here's the part beginners miss. Decoding it takes 1 second. Every browser, every terminal, every tool can do it. So when an app stores your role or your user ID in a Base64 cookie and thinks it's hidden, it isn't. You decode it, change user to another id or admin to true, re-encode it and send it back. Base64 is not encryption. It never was. Bees treat anything in it as fully readable and fully editable. Now for the one-way street, the concept behind every password database you'll ever try to crack. Hashing. A hash function takes any input, a word, a file, a password, anything, and produces a fixed length string called a hash or a digest. And it has three defining properties. 1. It's one way. You cannot reverse a hash back into the original input. 2. It's deterministic. The same input always produces the exact same hash. And 3. Even a tiny change in the input produces a completely different hash. Think of it as a fingerprint for data. Common hash algorithms include MD5 and SHA1, both old and now considered weak, and the SHA2 family like SHA256, which is strong. Where do you meet hashes? Two big places. Passwords. Good applications never store your actual password, they store its hash, so that even if the database leaks, the passwords aren't sitting there in plain text. And integrity. A hash proves a file wasn't tampered with because any change would change the hash. So if hashes can be reversed, how do hackers crack them? You don't reverse it, you guess. You take millions of candidate passwords, hash each one, and compare. When a hash matches, you found the password. That's what tools like Hashcat and John the Ripper do at enormous speed. And weak algorithms like MD5 fall almost instantly. But there's a problem hackers exploit and defenders must fix. If two people use the same password, plain hashing gives them the same hash. That means attackers can pre-compute the hashes of millions of common passwords once, a rainbow table, and then just look up any hash instantly. The fix is a salt, a unique random value added to each password before it's hashed. Now the same password produces a different hash for every user, and those giant pre-computed tables become useless. But even salting isn't enough for passwords, because fast hashes like SHA-256 can be guessed billions of times per second. So modern systems use slow, deliberately expensive password hashing algorithms, decrypt, scrypt, and argon2, designed to be slow enough to make mass guessing impractical. So here's the hacker's checklist. When you find leaked hashes, what algorithm is it? Is it salted? Is it a fast hash or a slow one? The answers tell you whether you're cracking it tonight or never. And finally, the real lock, the only one of the three that actually keeps a secret from someone who has the data: encryption. Encryption scrambles data so that it's unreadable, but unlike hashing, it can be turned back into the original if and only if you have the right key. So that key is the whole game. Lose it and the data is gone, steal it and the protection is gone. There are two families of encryption and you need to know both. The first is symmetric encryption. Here, the same single key both locks and unlocks the data. It's fast and great for bulk data. The common algorithm is AES. The catch: both sides need to share that one secret key, and getting it to the other person safely is hard. The second is asymmetric encryption. Here there are two keys that work as a pair, a public key that anyone can have, which locks the data, and a private key that only you hold, which unlocks it. Anyone can encrypt the message to you using a public key, but only a private key can open it. The common algorithm is RSA. This solves the key sharing problem, but it's slower. And here's the elegant part you already met. HTTPS uses both asymmetric encryption to safely exchange a key at the start, then fast symmetric encryption for the actual conversation. Let's put the two side by side, because knowing which is which matters when you're testing. Symmetric encryption, one shared key used to both encrypt and decrypt. Fast, ideal for large amounts of data, but the shared key is the weak point. If it leaks, everything's exposed. Think AES, asymmetric encryption, a key pair, public to encrypt, private to decrypt. Slower, but it solves the problem of sharing keys over an untrusted network, and it's what powers digital signatures and certificates. Think RSA. As a hacker, why do you care? Because crypto is usually not broken by beating the math, it's broken by how it's used. Hard-coded keys sitting in the source code you downloaded from the front end. Weak or ancient algorithms nobody updated. Keys reused where they shouldn't be. Secrets accidentally committed to a public repository. You will almost never break AES itself, but you'll regularly find the key someone left lying around next to it. That's where the real crypto bugs live. So let's turn all of this into one instant decision you can make on site. You find a mysterious blob of characters. Ask, can I reverse it with no key? If yes, it's encoding like Base64 and you can read and edit it freely. If you can't reverse it at all and it's a fixed length, it's a hash and your move is to crack it, not decrypt it. And if it's scrambled but reversible only with a key, it's encryption. And your job is to hunt for that key, not to attack the algorithm. Encoding, you decode. Hashing, you crack. Encryption, you find the key. 3 strings that look the same, 3 completely different attacks. Memorize this one slide and you'll save yourself months of pointing the wrong tool at the wrong string. So why did we spend a whole episode on strings that look like noise? Because this is the literacy that exploitation is written in. Every module ahead is full of these. You'll Base64 decode a token and rewrite it to become another user. You'll pull a pile of password hashes from a database you accessed and feed them to a cracker overnight. You'll grep through downloaded JavaScript and find an API key sitting in plain sight. You'll spot a cookie using a weak, ancient hash and realize you can forge it. None of that is possible if you freeze up every time you see a random looking string. Instead you won't. You can look at any blob of characters and instantly know, is this a costume, a fingerprint or a lock, and therefore do I decode it, crack it or hunt for its key. That reflex is what separates someone who's memorized attacks from someone who actually understands what they're looking at. Let's lock it in. 1. Encoding, hashing and encryption look alike but do different jobs. 2. Encoding is reversible with no key, it's representation, not security. 3. Base64 is encoding, readable and editable, never encryption. 4. Hashing is one way, a fixed length fingerprint you crack by guessing. 5. Salts and slow hashes, like decrypt and argon2, are what make password hashes hard to crack. 6. Encryption is reversible only with a key. 7. Symmetric uses one shared key, asymmetric uses a public-private pair. And 8. crypto is usually broken by a leaked key, not broken math. Screenshot this. That's the last big piece of pure theory, which means the foundations are officially complete. From here, we get our hands dirty. Subscribe, because the next episode is the one a lot of you have been waiting for, setting up your own hacking lab. Kali or Parrot, virtual machines, and deliberately vulnerable targets like DVWA, Juice Shop, and the Portswigger Web Security Academy, a safe legal playground where you can actually start attacking things. Drop a comment, are you on Windows, Mac or Linux, so I know how to help. See you in the lab.